Good afternoon. Let us please welcome Sumana Harihareshwar and Jason Owens. We are going to be treated to a play today, which means that there will be light cues, there will be a few brief moments of darkness. Please give a hand to our actors.
Yeah, is now still a good time for the code review?
Yeah, now's a good time if it's still good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get your feature branch updated?
Yes, I pushed it to the GitHub, and it's ready for you to look at.
Okay. Most of the time, we won't need to do this face-to-face. It's just because you're new. While you're on-ramping, we do the first few face-to-face.
Sure.
And then after that, I'll just be doing them online in GitHub. Okay?
Great.
All right. So I'm pulling down your feature branch now. Remind me again what this does.
Right, okay, so this is to fix bug 1104, which is to stop parsing HTML and start using the API instead.
Yep.
And I figured while I was in there, we could clean up the code a little bit, add a bug class to handle some of these interactions, and also add some tests.
So your commit messages need to say that more clearly, everything you said to me. And also the length on those is longer than we like. We want them to be under 76 characters. This one's 78. And the first comment is also longer than, you're not taking notes.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So that's something you can, there's also one of these tests. So you see test extract bug info. The arguments, you don't have spaces after the commas. And so that makes it harder to read.
Okay.
I recognize that this may seem a little petty. This may seem like a lot of little things, but this is about consistency. Because when code is easier to read because everything's consistent, that means that you can see what's happening in the diffs more easily, right? And I can review, other people can review the changes better and see really what's happening in each diff. Okay, great. Now here's another example where you have some new imports you've added, right? You've added random and requests, but you've put them after unit test. So that's not alphabetical. It needs to be in alphabetical order so that someone who's viewing this can just skim real easily and ask, is this particular library imported in this file, and check real easily, yes, no.
Okay, I mean, I can fix that, but can't you just use search for that?
Yes, we are capable of using grep, but it slows you down. In every commit you make, you need to think about developer experience. You need to think about the person coming after you, including future you, whether they're going to have a difficult time, whether they're going to be slowed down understanding this file, especially if they've been paged and woken up at 2 in the morning and they're scanning to figure out what this does.
Right, okay.
Okay, so what do you need to fix?
Okay, so spacing, import order,
and
the commit message.
And the length, I mean, this commit message is substantively good, right? But when someone's running git log, you see the length.
Yeah, and I noticed that it gets cut off in GitHub too.
Yeah, it gets truncated. That's annoying. So, okay, to step back, the issue as a whole is about this CMS is integrated with feeds from the bug tracker. I'm getting pinged on Slack.
Oh, okay. So I'll fix those.
Yeah. Check the style guide and just look at the other code to see whether or not things already match.
Okay.
And fix that up, and then it's probably good. Merge.
Merge it into master? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since the outage, and Randall is wondering, what's going on?
Yeah, I think it is going to be kind of hard to explain, Jason.
Well, so does he need this for the customers?
No. This is not. Thank goodness that's not a problem that we have. Because there are 3 basic categories of corporate blog post. There's invite your friends to try our new beta feature. There's one we've gotten very good at recently, sorry for the recent outage. And then there's one we may be getting to, which is thank you for our incredible journey.
Right, okay. So then this is for the meeting with the higher
Yes,
ups.
tomorrow. How are we going to explain this tomorrow?
Okay, so we figured out what went wrong, right? We traced down the code and we found out that we were streaming the data to the disk, and that was fine when we were restarting every couple of days because we were getting a new VM with every deploy, but then Darren was out of town and we stopped deploying for a bit, and so the disk filled up and the application crashed.
They are going to ask the very reasonable question why we were not instrumenting and monitoring this.
We did. We thought of this situation and we wrote code to detect it, but it turns out that code was never executed.
What?
We called the wrong function. There was another that was similarly named and it just never ran.
But how did we not notice that?
Who would catch that?
I'm going to have to explain to them tomorrow why we switched to self-review.
You think we would have caught this in code review?
Yes!
We never caught stuff like this in code review. It was always silly Pep 8 stuff. Like, our code is really pretty, and it does dumb things.
You know, if I could do some of these things over again.
Hey.
Oh, hey, saw your Slack.
Yeah, so I wanted to check in on that code review. I saw that both you and Randall had left some different comments.
Yep, right, yeah. So, is your feature branch up to date?
Yes, I was able to address some of the comments, but the others I wanted to check in with you.
Okay, pulling it down. Remind me what it does.
Right, so this is bug 1104. We're going to stop parsing HTML and start using the API.
Yep.
And while we're in there, clean up some of the code, add a bug class to handle some of these interactions.
Hold on a second, though. Why did you put the bug class in this file?
I mean, it seemed to make sense there.
No, I think you should put it in internal.api.client.
Okay, so Randall was saying something about how classes should be close to their uses.
Randall is very often right on this sort of thing, but we're trying to, across the organization, make it more discoverable so that clients and interfaces to external resources will all be in one place. That'll be a better developer experience.
Okay.
Okay, right. So this test it's named pretty well, but we are trying to use snake case with underscores and not camel case.
Right, sorry.
Okay,
I'll
so you can
that.
fix that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here, there's one other thing here, which is I see that you're inheriting from HTTP client, which is actually deprecated now. Do you know where API client is so you can use it?
Wait, I thought HTTP client was the new thing.
But who told you that?
Randall did. Like, I rewrote it yesterday based on his comment to use that instead.
Okay, so there's actually, so we have a number of some of these component questions that have been coming up, and so we've been putting them on the agenda for the architecture committee.
Okay.
And I thought this was taken care of in their last meeting, but it's actually, I'm sorry, I forgot that it's on the next one, right? We're going to have a discussion about HTTP client, which his team wrote, and API client, and then we'll have a bake-off.
Okay. So
Which is, I mean, basically, API client is clearly superior on a number of axes, but we'll demonstrate that. And actually, your branch can, although if it just switched, then maybe it's not. But in any case, once that decision is made and agreed to and signed off on, we can merge this.
Okay, so when will that be?
So it meets every other week. And so the bake-off will be next week, and then Mike is off for a couple weeks. So after that, it'll be about 5 weeks.
5 weeks?
Okay, I recognize this may seem like a long time, but if we are aligned across the organization, we standardize on reusable components and on the same platform, then what we're going to have is actually increased velocity overall in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah, so for now, you have some things to fix, like you need to change where the bug class lives, and you need to change that test name.
Right.
But in the meantime, after that, you have runway, right? We have stuff to do?
Yeah, I guess. So.
Oh, hey. Okay, so Jason, I was hoping that we were going to have your help with this rewrite, but congrats on the new gig.
Thank you. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
And this just felt like the right time to move on,
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I mean, for your last 2 weeks, though, I mean, we can still probably get a lot done. We can finish off, like, you were working on issue 122, right? The Flask to Django migration.
Right. So I have a PR up for that.
Yep, I see.
And there were kind of a lot of comments, so I think it's going to take a few rounds to address all of those.
More than 2 weeks, though?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what about 1101 you were on?
Yes, so that one is blocked on the security team. They haven't allocated any time for it this sprint, so I'm kind of blocked.
I mean, you asked?
Yeah, they said they're busy.
Okay, what about 1290?
Right, so that one I have working on my machine. But
good.
Sam pointed out that it's going to break on Oracle, so DevOps doesn't have any machines to give me until they
the
get
new
their
hardware.
Right.
We're waiting for that. Okay, so
Right.
you have. Okay, how many bugs do you have assigned to you?
Like 12, I think?
Okay, so a lot of those will be, so you'll hand them off to me, and a lot of those will be able to close as won't fix because
Sure.
after the rewrite, they won't be applicable. And
Sure.
so So for the next week, how about if you could concentrate on just get as much as you can done on responding to those Flask to Django comments, and then we have a new dev coming on next week, and you can train her up on the system as is, and
Sure.
we could actually save some time by giving her your dev box.
Great. Yeah, I'll get started on that tomorrow. See ya.
If I could do a couple things over again.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I think I saw you in Slack.
Yeah. Is now still a good time for the code review?
Yeah, I guess if it's good for you, yeah. Your feature branch is up.
Yes. Just push it, and it's ready for you to look at.
All right.
So I wasn't sure if I should prepare something for this,
What?
like slides or something for a code review meeting.
Meeting? Oh, we're not gonna do too much of the because you're new. While you're on ramping, if you you'll ask for. But once you're more on board, you're only gonna ask for code review for big stuff.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what the style guide is?
No, where is that?
Oh, I'll Slack you a link. Unless you want, do you want an email or a comment?
Whatever's fine.
Okay. I don't know about using this API. I'm not sure about it.
Oh, is it getting deprecated or something?
Not that I know of, but I mean, sometimes these places kind of rate limit and stuff like that.
Okay, so I noticed that this is not the only code that calls this API. There's also the functionality in the CMS helper, which is kind of similar. So I was wondering, should we refactor so that they're both using the same stuff, or what do you think?
Well, I'm not going to say you have to or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, also, we haven't really run into that problem, right? We're at, 100, maybe 200 requests a day? I mean, if we don't run into the problem, then it's just dead code. I imagine you want to, keep it streamlined, right?
Okay.
So, that's some stuff you could look at that. You could take a look at those things.
Okay, so I'll take a pass at fixing that, and then, ping you to take a second look, and then you can merge?
Are you having trouble merging? Can you, merge the repo but not master? You're having trouble with your privs?
I haven't tried pushing to master. I figured I needed a +1 or something.
You could have merged this today, dude. I don't... Look, if you ask for a review, I tell you what to watch out. I tell you some stuff okay, here's some stuff I saw, you can look out for it. And then you take a look and, okay, I'm going to change this or this other stuff, you think it's fine. Then, we don't have a heavy pre-commit micromanagement culture here. So,
Okay, so it's up to me.
We gave you the commit bit when we hired you because we trust you, you're good.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be working on right now.
What, is 11054 done?
No, I got stuck because we figured out that there was this issue where Brian was subclassing from issue and Emily was subclassing from bug, and they're similar but not the same. We didn't notice that until now, but it's not even obvious to me which of these two behaviors is correct because they're similar. And PM is out on their retreat this week, and so I can't even get on their calendar right now.
And what if the subsidiary functionality might be different, huh?
Right, exactly. I've traced down bugs like this before where several steps away, and it's been getting harder and harder ever since Brian and Tanya left because they've been doing so much of the detective work.
Yeah, it's tough, huh?
Yeah, our code is a maze of little functions that are all alike. And
maybe we could have done some stuff different.
yeah.
Oh, hey, Jason.
Hey,
I saw your Slack, I think.
Yeah. Is now still a good time for the code review?
Yeah, I mean, it can work for me if it's working for you.
Yeah.
Your feature branch is up to date?
Oh, well, we had to merge it to get into prod, but yes, it's ready for you to look at.
It's in master.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
So which commits, is it these?
Yes.
What is it doing?
Okay, so this is for bug 1104, which is stop parsing HTML and start using the API. And while I was in there, I figured we could, clean up
But what
some
is
of the-
this bit, though?
That's the API client.
But you looks like you wrote. Did you write this from scratch?
Yeah.
But The date on this, I mean, did you start on this last week?
Yeah, that's when
Why
Ray
didn't
assigned
you
me.
ping me?
I did. I said in channel.
No, I would have noticed because, like, this. Okay, so this is redundant because we have Brian's team writing this API client for this vendor, and you really should have pulled that in instead of writing this
how
from
should
scratch.
I know?
And B, like, the reason why we're doing that is because this is not just the API token to connect to our bug tracker. Because of the consolidation, this is also connecting us to our accounts for our CRM, our shop, a huge chunk of our operations. And the reason why we're trying to standardize on the client is because that can incorporate the error checking, because C, this is a finicky API that has weird error handling, and oh look, you have 0 error handling.
It's
that we
built into
need
the
to do because if we issue bad data, they still give us a 200, which you don't seem to notice at all. Did you even look at the docs?
Yes, of course I did.
That doesn't seem like it. You really should have pinged me.
I did. We had a conversation in channel for like 20.
No, but you didn't ping me. I can't keep up with everything
Come
in
on.
channel. So you need to basically, we need to revert this. Like, I mean, if you need to use Brian's library like now, but like, it's not issuing any calls, is it, right? Because you put it behind a feature flag?
No one said anything about a feature flag. We
Whoa!
had this conversation.
Okay, so this is issuing bad calls right now that if we issue too many, they are going to cut off our account for a... You don't know how to use get revert, do you?
I can read the
Hey,
man
look,
page.
watch me.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead. Join us for the sprint, the sprint planning meeting. It's about that time. Yeah. So the past sprint was pretty successful. We are only carrying over 3 stories from the last one, and most of those are really about the microservices transition, which is really going to help us a lot. Breaking out of that monolith, we'll move way faster. And we also have a request from sales on the board to prioritize in timeout.
really? From sales?
Yep.
That's great. Do we have a customer?
Not a current customer as such, but sales believes that this feature would make it easier for us to launch and attract a persona that they've developed.
Okay, so do we have a launch date then, or ship date?
We know it will be next year. They haven't decided on a quarter specifically,
Okay.
but yes.
Okay, so why do they think that this will help them launch our product?
I do recognize that on the surface, it doesn't quite look like the communication and the alignment around what we've been working on and what they're asking for is a real one-to-one. You know, if I could have done a few things different. Oh, hey, Jason.
Hey.
I think I saw you Slack.
Yeah, is now still a good time for the code review?
Yeah, if it's good for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that could
yeah,
work for me. So is your feature branch up to date?
Yep, I just pushed and it's ready for you to look at.
Okay. Have you tested it?
It works on my machine.
Famous last words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is what we talked about last week when it was a whip. It was a work in progress, and you talked to me about it, and I said, hey, you should check with Brian about the API client library. Did you do that?
Yes, he was able to come over and help me import the library and start calling it, and that was great.
Okay. I've pulled it down without looking at the commit messages. What does this branch do?
Okay, so this is for bug 1104, which is stop parsing HTML and start using the API. And I figured while we were in there, we could clean up some code, add a bug class to handle some of these interactions, and of course, add some tests.
Ding, ding, ding. 10 out of 10. Nicely done. And these, it looks like these. Did you get to pair with somebody on this?
Yeah, so I paired a little bit with Brian, like I said.
On what?
On getting the library imported.
Yep.
But then also, Sarah came over yesterday, and we got a couple hours in, which was super productive, and that was great.
Okay, yeah. These commit messages are really great. They're very explanatory.
Yeah, Sarah was really big on commit messages, and she also helped me split up a commit that I made beforehand that was too big.
Yes, small commits are easily reviewable. You've heard us say this.
Yes.
All right, we are about to get the results of the continuous integration that will tell us, okay, you just have a few minor style things that the linter caught, and there is a doc on the wiki to help you learn how to run the linter locally,
Okay,
so you'll
great.
catch these things yourself later. I'll show you, I'll send you a link. All right, this test is well named.
Thank you.
That's great. Oh, good. you have error handling for that API call. I was going to look for that.
Yeah, I was poking through Brian's library a bit, and I am glad I did not have to figure that stuff out.
I know, right? Yeah, it's right in there, so you can reuse it. And Brian has also filed a bug upstream with the vendor, so maybe someday we won't need this hacky workaround.
That would be nice.
He has actually done enough detective work on some of these other, vendor calls that he's actually collected together his sort of, war stories about it, and he might submit a talk to PyGotham.
Ooh, that'd be neat.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this looks good overall. There are a few style issues, which I'm going to come over to your desk right now.
Okay.
We'll fix those and get you running on a linter, and then we'll get to hit merge.
Great, thank you. Hey.
Hey,
How's
how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the code review?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I was too the first time, but hopefully once we get into it, you'll see that it's not a big deal. I'm not judging you as a person. This is more just like trying to make sure that there's no bugs in the code, and if there are, it's not a big deal because we can just fix them, and it's way cheaper to fix them now than like in 6 months when we've forgotten all of this. And hopefully also it'll be a learning experience, right? Like, I'll be asking questions, and hopefully that'll give you some insight into how I think about the problem and how I think about the code. And maybe you'll have something that I've not seen before, and that would be an excellent opportunity for me to learn from you.
It sounds like a good way to do it.
Yeah. So, how did you find this change to make?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I started using git blame.
Oh, yeah, right? Isn't it awesome to have a history that we can learn from the mistakes of our previous developers?
Hey, thank you so much for watching this world premiere New York play, right? Code Review Forwards and Back, co-written by Jason Owen and me, Sumana Harihareshwara. I also want to thank our director, Jonathan Galvez, sound, Kenneth Durrill, lights, David Beasley, our other actor, A. Jesse Jiria Davis, our dramaturgs, Laura Hampton and Michael Reese, and the PyGotham organizers for taking a risk on this extremely wacky thing. It is time to enjoy your break. Thank you.